Hey everyone, Kirk Rivals bringing you the refresh 2021 Nissan Kicks. We had this vehicle come out kind of as an answer when Nissan decided to cancel the Juke here in the United States. It lives on in other parts of the world for a second generation, but here in America, Nissan has the Kicks to fill the role that the Juke played. So today we're going to find out if it's as good as the old Juke and what it needs to be better. With any refresh, there's always exterior changes. That's no different here. What I have is an electric blue metallic color that's two-toned with black on the roof. So you have this floating roof line that is kind of reminiscent of the Murano, the higher level crossover in the Nissan lineup. Now up front, they did make a few changes to the front end, especially with the V-Motion grille. They've nipped and tucked it per se. And this particular model, the SR, has full LED headlights and turn signals on the front. The turn signals on the rear are still halogen bulbs. This also has a 17-inch optional black wheels. I think they look okay. And in the SR and the SV packages, you ditch the base drum brakes in the back and you get disc brakes for all four wheels. We'll talk more about the brakes later. And then this particular model has a spoiler package. So you have a more pronounced spoiler, you have a glossy, I guess it's a chrome, you have a chrome Nissan plated exhaust tip, and it also gives you roof rails, which I feel like are a nice visual touch to this vehicle, as well as functional if you decide to take it a little camping. Now on the interior, the biggest welcome change is going to be standard Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. I have an Android phone. It's been working pretty well. They have a USB up here now in the higher trims, a USB-C I should say. So you have two USB information ports up front, and then you have two more in the back in these higher grades, and that's going to be for charging only. But the two up front, I wasn't able to get Android Auto to work with my phone with the USB-C, so I had to plug it through the USB-A. It works okay. For some reason, when I'm listening to music, sometimes it doesn't give me the option to go back to Android Auto. You can't turn the stations, by the way, when you're in Android Auto with the tuning knob. You have to go back to the radio app to be able to change the station. So that was kind of a letdown. Now in terms of interior design, well, this SR has the synthetic leather, which is fairly comfortable. It's pretty stiff. I feel like I'm sitting on top of it, especially on the back side. The vertical cushion feels a little bit stiff to me, but they are pretty comfortable overall. I do like that orange stitching accent. I think it's pretty cool in this car. The doors are hard touch plastic, and then that's when you realize this vehicle debuts around $20,000. So even though this particular one is around 26, 27 MSRP, you can tell that it's based off of a lesser priced model, that's for sure. But I do like the soft touches here in the middle, the nice stitched fake leather armrests. Those are really nice touches, and I do appreciate them. It's just you have too much of this going on. And in terms of functionality, I'm very happy. The climate control, you have knobs. It's very easy to read. I have heated seats and a heated steering wheel in this SR grade. So I'm very happy overall with the overall usability and functionality of the vehicle. I do have 360 camera on this. That's crazy for a car this small. It's kind of overkill. Like a backup camera is probably plenty. And speaking of when you're turning this vehicle in tight spaces, it has a really tight turning radius. It's just really easy to be able to maneuver in tight spaces. And speaking of maneuverability, I'll get into the driving a little bit here. It's actually more nimble as you'd think it would be. Now, this is front wheel drive only, and this vehicle only has one engine option, which is the 1.6 liter non-turbo like we saw in the Juke of old, but a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated, mated with a CVT. As you guys know, Nissan likes to use CVTs, and it only has 122 horsepower and 114 pound-feet of torque. The trade-off of that is you're going to get good gas mileage, but it's never inspiring. I didn't choose this, but I have a rainy day to review this, which is fine, because if this was a performance vehicle, I'd be bummed out. But here we go. I'm going about 25 miles an hour. I'm going to mash the gas. There's 40. Don't expect this car to be a kick in the pants. I don't even know what that means. I just had to throw a kicks pun in here while I was at it. Now, this vehicle does not have all-wheel drive, and the old Juke did. That was optional. The old Juke had all-wheel drive in the turbo powertrain with around 180 horsepower or so. So we're down about 60 horsepower. and we're down 2 more wheels of drive, at least optional all-wheel drive in here, which is kind of a bummer. And I understand this vehicle is built to a price, but for this to replace a model to get reduced functionality is kind of a bummer. Ride quality is mediocre. When you go over the bumps, you're going to feel them and hear them a bit. The dips and dives, it has a torsion beam in the back, so it's not very sophisticated when you hit some uneven pavement. But guys, got to keep in mind the price point of this vehicle. But at pretty low speeds here, it's a fairly quiet experience. It's a little bit echoey in here, but other than that, it would be an excellent city car. You'd be getting, gosh, over 30 miles per gallon in the city. On the highway, about 35, 36 miles per gallon. Now, it just came to a stop, so let's talk about the brakes in here. Well, thankfully, this one has full disc brakes on it. The upper trims on this have disc brakes, where the base model has drum brakes in the rear, discs in the front. So when we're talking about the brakes in here, I think the vehicle does stop really well. The brake pedal is hard to modulate for me. I feel like there's like 3 or 4 settings and there's nothing in between. So it's like low, medium, medium high, and hard, full on. And it isn't a very progressional brake pedal. It just feels like it's the next step, the next higher step in the brake pedal. So it's hard for me to modulate, but that doesn't change the fact that this vehicle does stop pretty well. And as I'm going around this roundabout, like I said, this vehicle does handle pretty well, all things considering. I guess it's kind of like a raised hatchback in some ways. It's hard to call it an SUV. I know that's just kind of the segment it's in, but it doesn't have all-wheel drive. So, man, that's a tough one, a tough pill for me to swallow when so much of its competition has all-wheel drive optional. Okay, you guys have been asking for this. I'm at a stop sign, no one's around me. I'm gonna mash the pedal, go. No wheel spin, not even close. Okay, so that was about 55 miles an hour, and it took us a while to get there, but what do you expect? 122 horsepower. CVT doesn't lay down that power very strongly, especially off the go. So even though I just mashed the pedal, I'm still getting over 30 miles per gallon. So even if you drive this and just wring this 1.6 liter out, you're still going to get really good fuel economy. And a couple more things about this interior before I finish up my full impressions of the Nissan Kicks. When I sit in the back seat, I was actually pleasantly surprised. I was sitting very high, it felt like, and I also had a couple inches of room still to spare between my head and the roof. So even though this kind of looks like it has a sloping roof line on the outside, 6'1" or shorter, maybe even a little bit taller, you're still gonna have the headroom. The legroom was actually okay. I sat behind my seat, so that was set up for 6'1", and I actually had an inch or so of legroom to spare. So that was actually really nice to see. Now there's no armrest back there. You have the chargers in the back, which are nice, but there's no armrest and there are no vents back there. So that was a little bit of a bummer. And when we're talking about the cargo capacity, I'll put the exact number up for you guys. When I opened the hatch, I was really happy with the amount of cargo space available to us. You have quite a bit back there, and you can fold down the seats, a 40-60 split. So who is this vehicle for, and my final thoughts? Well, I feel like this vehicle would be mainly for people who drive largely in the cities or just want a really cheap commuter car. Now, it's going to be a bit buzzy and noisy on the highway, but in terms of fuel economy, 35 miles per gallon is not going to be hard to get average in this vehicle. And the price point, I just feel like this vehicle isn't worth that much money. I know you get the 360 camera, heated seats, heated steering wheel. It looks pretty good, I think, on the outside, but underneath it's still a $20,000 vehicle. So to me, if I were in the market for this vehicle, maybe I'm a young professional, like, you know, or in college, or maybe my parents are getting me my first car. Like, this would be an excellent first car. I love all the color options they have on the Kicks. To me, Nissan's directed this budget-minded car for younger people. That's the best way to put it, who are looking for practical and reliable transportation to get them to point A to point B, get good fuel economy, give them the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard. I think that is a huge selling point of this car. And just overall, like I said, this vehicle is not going to wow anyone. As I smash the gas here, if you're a parent buying this vehicle for your kid, know that they are not going to be able to get themselves into trouble by going too fast, too quickly, even in terrible traction situations like I'm driving in right now in the pouring rain. But quirky, cute looks, functionality, especially being able to fold the seats down, great fuel economy and a low price point, and standard features like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and overall good safety features. Those are the best things about the Kicks. But if it were to offer all-wheel drive, a more potent powertrain, or even something outside of this CVT, even the CVT has room to improve. All they need is a true first gear like how Toyota does it. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. Nissan Kicks, what are your questions? What do you think about it? I'll see you in the comments. If you enjoyed my video, smash the like button, subscribe. But more Nissan reviews are coming for the channel. Can't wait for the new 400Z or Z Proto, whatever they decide to call that vehicle when it hits production. And also the Pathfinder. The Pathfinder is gonna be huge for them. Super new. I can't wait to throw all my kids in that vehicle and review it in a style that a lot of people aren't able to because they don't have the family hardware like I do. Anyways, I'll see you guys down below. Thank you so much for watching. Signing off from the 2021 Nissan Kicks refresh. Have a good day. Peace out.